But at the moment is Snoopy and the boys up 1-0 there. That is a best of 3-2. But we're staying with this one right now because it could go either way here as well.
Yeah.
Both sat at the 1-1. Crazy.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, game 1, Town USA, pretty clean overall. They win the game fairly easily. And then game 2, Slugs, same story. Fairly clean game. They win the game fairly easily. Who is going to be the one to come out? Let's be real here. Like I mentioned, it's either a clean wipe or a 55-minute brawl. This is going to be a 55-minute game, right?
Well,
it has to be.
Let's go into picks and bans then. Game 3 underway. Slugs versus Town USA, and the Slugs are currently positioned to be first pick and first bat.
And we saw Nike get through and actually lose there for Town USA, so I wonder if Town USA may decide to give it up and say, well, it wasn't that great. You know, maybe we can give it up and do okay. The Vamana for Medieval was the big standout character there, I think. The Neath for BennyQ, not ban worthy. The Hunbats maybe for PandaTurtle, but I feel like overall the bans here should be fairly standard.
I saw Vamana and Zeus were the big two for me overall, because Zeus was very difficult to kill overall.
Sure.
He had a big impact in the fights. Sylvanus as well. I mean, you can't ignore Sylvanus.
Could be the Sylvanus, yeah. The Sylvanus ban would probably be a strong call from Town USA. Nike banned right away, no real surprise there. And I love this Raw ban from Slugs. Viper has not looked like the same player when he's not on this Raw. The problem is that Erlang Shen is open, and Cope has looked very, very strong on that. It's to the point where I'd almost consider taking Erlang Shen away, but then you give up the Zeus Sylvanus, so now you kind of have to take one of those. If I'm Town USA, I'm taking Erlang Shen and whoever Slugs don't take between Zeus and Sylvanus on the back end here.
I can see that one coming out from Town USA overall, because I don't think Slugs can really take Erlang here, can they? No.
No.
You can't
No,
leave
you can't.
Sylvanus and Zeus together.
No, you can't.
We
We
just
saw
showed
that
how
last
strong
time.
it was, yeah.
You get Nike, you give up Sylvanus Zeus, you still lose the game.
You're going to have a bad time. Well, USA now, probably Erlang Shen Zeus.
Erlang Shen Zeus is the right. If I'm on the team, that's what I'm calling for.
And then
I'm trying to.
Capri will be the third pick.
Capri third pick?
Yeah.
I could see that. Yeah, we've seen Balentine play it earlier on today. We've also seen Rachetier play it, though it wasn't nearly as effective in that game just because of how far his team was behind. Erlang Shen being hovered, Zeus being hovered. We're pretty good at this.
To be fair, it's been a whole year of casting these games.
Yeah,
Season 3.
that's true.
Season 3 is coming to an end.
No, we're good at this.
We should know after a year.
Shh.
Right?
We're good at this.
These are analysts. I just say what I see. These guys are supposed to know
Oh,
this.
please. You do, yeah, whatever.
Just saying. Just saying.
Well, whatever.
Oh, it's the Slugs. They will go with the Chronos this time around for themselves. And what else are we going to see alongside this? Do we expect? We also see there's a jungler.
Vamana.
A jungler?
Vamana.
Jungler. No, Ratatoskr.
Really? I don't know. Medieval was just so dominant. Like, give him his dominant matchup. Give him something. Maybe the Erlang Shen matchup isn't great.
What is the Vamana
Yeah.
Erlang Shen matchup then?
It's fairly even from what I understand. I mean, you've got the pin to interrupt that, clear the path, but both having knockups is difficult for Cope to really lock down Medieval with the CC just because of the CC immune ultimate coming out of the Vamana. I really feel like that was the difference maker for Slugs in that last matchup. But I love this Chronos pick for BennyQ. Like I mentioned earlier, when I think of BennyQ, it's untraditional hunters. The only traditional hunter he really plays is this Chronos.
And Neath.
And Neath, but you know, like as far as his premier gods.
I'll just look at the Twitch chat. They'll be like, Neath is banned. Scylla, Giannis banned out by Town USA as
When
well.
do you look out for Twitch chat? What has Twitch chat ever done for you? Oh, they love you. Who am I kidding?
It's true, you kind of do, don't you?
Yeah.
You might not want to.
Can't help it.
I
It's
know.
the accent. It's literally not fair.
It is. It's just the accent.
If I went over to England and casted there, Twitch chat would love me.
No.
You're right.
No one cares about you anywhere in the world. Ever.
Scylla banned.
Scylla is banned, Guan and Capri as well. Now that's why I expected the Capri potentially to come out there from Town USA instead of the Thor overall. But Thor versus Ratatoskr is an interesting trade there, but the Nuwa.
Interesting. So
Is that Nuwa dual lane and Chronos mid?
No, it'll be Nuwa. It'll be Nuwa.
You sure?
Mid.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll be Nuwa mid. Like I said, BennyQ plays a decent amount of Chronos. I expect that to go to him for sure. Nuwa in the middle lane. We saw Xenotronics pilot this a decent amount during Worlds, just making sure that it's making sure that you're able to get that global damage out, that global vision as well. Plus the protection shred from the clay minions, very, very potent.
Well, you saw the adjustment there. It wasn't Guan Yu ban, it was a get ban, and Guan Yu was picked by the Slugs there. So they do have more sustain on the side of Slugs this time. USA, you remember their game? They were the one with the double sustain game one. This time they're up against double sustain themselves.
Exactly, that's the big key here. And foregoing the Vamana pick there for Medieval to go elect for that sustain. Very, very interesting. Town USA going to get a little bit of sustain for themselves here with the Terra. We have not seen Terra at all today.
No.
This is like epic fall from grace for Terra as a character.
And the big deal is about the invades at level 1. The early game is so important that Terra doesn't really bring a whole lot to the table. What she can do, walls, dash, and drop a heal that you can walk out of.
That's about it.
Pretty much all she's going to do, so it makes it very tricky. So we'll see how she ends up playing this one out. She's not taken a relic at the start of the game just yet, has Balentine on this Terra. Big loop round from Slugs looking for a pick, and they're going to fire
Viper's
one.
dead. Viper's dead. See you later, dude.
You will be missed. We salute you.
We salute you.
Overall, that's just a loop round the jungle as a team. Like, hey, let's just see if somebody's out of position. And there's a Zeus.
And I love the idea because Zeus is looking straight forward. He's looking for them to come down the lane or come down the jungle, basically. And instead, all of the Slaughter Slugs come around the side. And whenever you won game 1 clean and then get dominated game 2 and then give up a first blood like that, it's an easy way to get frustrated.
Well, 3-man goon squad versus 3-man goon squad in the jungle again. Cope's in a bit of trouble there. Pinned by Berserker.
Oh, the
Raj
3
again.
stun.
Stun was absolutely huge. They're going to give Cope a kill. Next on the list is PandaTurtle, and all that early work may have been for naught right now as the minions have spawned. And that was big body blocks from Rachetier. You called it right, just to make sure his little rat friend could get out.
Hey, invading Thor at level 1.
I've never seen that before.
Not the best idea.
I've not seen that before.
Could you actually tell the viewers at home what the Thor passive is?
I don't know. I don't know. It might be something to do with deal more damage. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's like almost like you gain power the more people are around you.
I'm not sure. But still, people
That'd be really
this.
good if people invaded you and you had a passive that gave you more power depending on the amount of enemies around you.
That'd be a good idea for an ability.
We should do that sometime.
But we'll look into it. I'll ask Ajax. We'll see. Ryan Harpy's going to go the way of Town USA. However, Slugs didn't all have to fall back to base. They've not lost too much yet. They get their own speed. They get their own blue. They get the elementals as well. And they got first blood. So overall, actually, the Slugs are in a better position still, even though that was very, very strange.
Yeah, somehow that's what happens. And Viper getting very low again, but PandaTurtle might be the one in trouble. 4-man rotation. Stunned with a 3-man Wrath, keeping himself alive.
Wow, that worked out really well for him. And so back to the game we go. Once more crazy start as per usual between the teams. Every single start is just shenanigans of like, what are you doing there? Why are you fighting? How are you alive? How did he get out? But there's a lot of outplays happening in them too. Body blocks and jukes is actually pretty interesting.
You know what? For how difficult it is to play in this meta at the early game and how volatile can really be, I know a lot of the pro players voice their frustration with that, but it's a lot of fun to watch. You got to give it that.
Oh, I agree. I'm sick of sitting here for 20 minutes and waiting for a kill. I'm talking about kills. BennyQ might die in a second, but he's going to get up thanks to the Wisps as well. And he's dash away back to safety. Full on dual lane action. It's basically solo lane is dual lane and dual lane is solo.
And I like the adjustment here from Slaughter Slugs because, like I mentioned, Balentine has spent so much time in this solo lane turning it into the duo lane. So Rachetier says, yeah, I can do that. No, I can do that.
Yep, and those two as well, Sylvanus and Terra, pretty close in terms of clear, but the double sustain is the one thing that Town USA have to be very careful of here. The double sustain from both Guan and Sylvanus could be too much for them to actually win the trades.
Though Medieval getting very low, just so much damage coming out of Cope early on, and that's why you see Rachetier over here to make sure that Medieval stays safe.
There's the walls coming down, not enough to bring up a kill. Rachetier's in a bit of trouble, but in range of the tower, the Wisps coming through. They'll be fine for now. Looks like Rachetier does want to go back to base, however, he's consumed all his mana, and that could cause a bit of a tricky situation now on his farm, whereas his lane opponent, technically Rachetier here, Balentine here, he's going to have a bit of an easier time at hitting level 5.
But now Medieval's going to be able to get that wave all by himself, which is making it easier for him to hit level 5, though I would argue that Terra Ultimate being online as soon as possible is definitely the best form of strategy for Town USA.
Yeah, we'll see what happens there. Right, Elemental's going to go the way of Town USA once more. 3 minutes in, and now Balentine's rotating to mid. 2 members here. There's the ultimate. Into the sky goes Thor. The route in place is good to put Rachetier in an awkward spot. He's not level 5 now, but the clay minions come into play with the stun to buy Rachetier a moment's grace. Not long enough, however, because the wall is coming down.
No way, he's out! Are you kidding me? And now BennyQ comes in, finds a 2-man stun. Balentine, he's gonna fall. Viper's next on the list.
And then he falls instead because of the rotation. How is he alive? Viper ends up falling too. BennyQ gets a triple kill.
What is happening? This is the dream. This is the dream for Slaughter Slugs. My Chronos just rotated in and got a triple kill at 3 minutes. But Sops is still ahead in levels.
Well, Sops got 2 kills as well there. That game, I don't know how to commentate that.
That just how is Rachetier alive at all? I mean, that was the perfect CC chain in the middle lane, right? You find the Terra root, then you get Thor ulted, then you get walled by Terra. It was the wall from Thor. It was you saw that Mexiety didn't wall him in the Zeus ult. They needed another tick from that Zeus ult to guarantee that death. Instead he tries to save it.
I'm going to give all the credit there, not to the mistakes that Town USA made, but all to ShadowChair on the new war, because that little fight was so big. His actual stun that came out from the clay minions is what saved his team's life.
Huge. It was absolutely massive, and Nuwa's not really known for her early game prowess whatsoever.
Talking about him though, he's just fallen.
Caster's curse, man.
Yeah, once again. Down though comes PandaTurtle looking to secure his own blue, but reinforcements for USA are here.
Mexiety.
This could be a problem.
He's gonna find two. The two-man knockup from Rachetier gonna keep his jungle and duo or solo lane alive, but he's gonna pay the price this time. Yes, we did it. We killed the Sylvanus.
No new while this time. Even Viper jumped up and down then going, yes, we killed the
we
tree.
did it. I love that Zeus jump. Like that is like a yes.
The celebration jump.
Yeah, absolutely.
For sure.
BennyQ makes the rotation, gets the triple kill, and like you mentioned, Sops gets 2, and so he's ahead. I mean, that's just absolutely phenomenal that he's still in the lead despite that. BennyQ's been a part of every single kill so far.
The way these teams have been playing, and the one thing you need to realize is some of these teams overall haven't played this many games in a row for a very long time as well. Obviously, the cup format comes and goes over the months, and no one's probably had this much actual competitive level gaming for, what, 3 months?
Very true. I mean, these teams, the last time these challenger teams played was just before the final group stage, basically,
They're not coming fresh to the semi-final at all. They've been playing all day to get to this point.
Yes.
And they're still waging war against each other, trying to do it. And these mistakes will happen. The outplays will get even better. And that's when you realize just how much you've got left in the tank.
Oh, it's so difficult to play all day like this. And on the right-hand side, Medieval, he's blocked off. Nice wall there by Mexiety. He's going to be able to pick up his second kill of the game early on.
I still have the call from Viper there, though. He was trying to do zone duty in the jungle. If he got picked by the pull there from Rachetier, it could have spent trouble for a 1-for-1 trade. But I do like his decision to rotate that way just to create an avoidance zone for the rotation in defense.
But again, in game 3, it's following the same script that the first 2 did, is that one jungler is significantly farther ahead than the other. It's been Mexiety making the plays, whereas PandaTurtle, he was playing Ratatoskr in the first game, really didn't do a whole lot. Played Hunbat's the second game, had a great game, goes back to the Ratatoskr, not really doing a whole lot so far.
I mean, he's been involved in every kill, though. To give him credit, he's been involved in every kill, but a lot of kills.
Mexiety's been the one making the plays.
Here we go, Sops versus BennyQ, and BennyQ ate a ricochet.
And he can hold that.
Yeah, he
can hold that.
He kind of can.
It didn't have the purification up. You saw that it got forced by Sops earlier on.
And that's normally, we wouldn't normally call out 1v1s like that, but the fact is, that was Benny choosing to take the trade. He didn't have to do that at all, but he wanted to take a trade.
Yeah.
And
Sops
he held
was like,
to L.
All right. I can do this, and that's the power of Hu Yi. Just that early game boxing potential is absolutely insane, and no Dynasty plate helm being built into you quite yet by BennyQ. Very, very curious. Usually, that's what's been making these magical hunters so potent in lane, is the fact that they really can't box against the physical hunters. Can't really box against them because of the itemization choices. But instead, it looks like it might be a do more, but I would assume coming from BennyQ.
Kind of like the choice from Cope there to use the ultimate early, because what he's allowed to do now is force the minions under the tower, get past the tower, farm and proxy farm the wave, ready for the next speed buff spawn that now Town USA can look to invade.
So exactly, Medieval has to make the choice between the wave and this speed buff. He's trying to help out his jungler who's so far behind, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. PandaTurtle comes in there, gets it, the Zeus ult, just way too late there.
They didn't think the dash was available there for PandaTurtle, who did fantastic work to get away.
Oh, no.
Gonna lose the blue buff as well. Oh, the speed buff was stolen?
Yeah, Viper was able to grab it in the middle lane there. Mexiety doing a lot of damage onto ShadowChair, forces out his purification, but trades his own in response. But because of this sustain coming out of Rachetier, it's going to favor the Slaughter Slugs.
Still diving in a little bit on the right-hand side. They're trying to stop Medieval from backing, so he's going to be forced to lose a few more minions. Obviously, Teleport takes a few seconds to get online to get back to that Tier 1 tower.
The late game potential for Slaughter Slugs is insane. I mean, it's just phenomenal. New wall in the late game, amazing. Chronos, possibly the best late game god in the game. You've got the double heals. Medieval, Guan Yu in the late game is a win condition by himself because his in-combat healing is the best in-combat healing in the game. And then the out-of-combat healing from Rachetier as well. But the problem is that they need to get there. And with the early pressure that Town USA has been applying all across the map, plus having that late game failsafe in this man right here, Sops.
Well, now Sops is going to continue to take this trade up against BennyQ's. Rewind is down, low on mana, the stun is purified. but I don't think it's going to be enough for him to get the kill anymore. Look for the ricochet off the tower, off the double tap. Wasn't enough, but BennyQ forced back, which is going to allow a little bit more time for sops to free farm.
ShadowChair using that ultimate to get some vision to make sure that BennyQ wasn't getting ganked. It would be my guess there. Both purifications forced on the left-hand side, but as well as the fact that both ultimates were used. That definitely favors sops though, because his ultimate is aggressive, but he doesn't really need it to find those solo kills necessarily. BennyQ needs that ultimate to stay safe from a gank from Thor, especially without that purification.
Well, with all these kills in the fiesta that we're calling the meta of Season 3 ends now, the Gold Fury still stands, but this is the time that we start to see the Gold Fury looked at by both teams. Wall placements for Town USA are controlling that area right now. They're going to be very wary of that sort of Slugs as this game continues now.
Medieval needs to be wary of the damage that Cope has here in the solo lane. Use the ultimate to get a little bit of sustain. Medieval forced a cavalry charge away, it looks like. On the left-hand side, though, Mexiety, exactly what I expected him to do. Spend some time over here with that Chronos ult being down, with those beads being forced, and I like the decision from BennyQ to just stay back. He's got the Doom Orb. Great. Stack it. You need those stacks to get towards those later game stages quicker.
Tier 1 on the right goes down with ShadowChair's in a world of hurt in the mid lane. We saw him ult earlier on, and if your ult's on cooldown as a new war, you better play safe. Late to the party was the PandaTurtle, so he'll dip straight back out after landing down.
Just not in the right spot there. Mexiety also comes crashing down just to make sure that Cope gets a little bit of assistance on those back camps.
They're hard, those.
Yeah.
At least in Season 4 they are.
They really are. Those things are so tanky.
Well, mid lane Rachetier, double tap, rooted in place as well, forced to ult, but Berserker Barrage going to avoid the knockup from that. Still standing, however. Support is a support after all, but it cost him his shell and his ultimate.
Shell, the only reason that he was able to survive there. Well-timed Berserker's Barrage from Mexiety prevents the knockup from the Wrath of Terra. Terra might take some Wrath herself.
And that pull was very unfortunate. It didn't hit onto Balentine, because that could have been a different story now. Town USA starting to sustain a little bit with the monolith from Terra, but more majority of the time focusing on the right-hand jungle.
It's just keeping PandaTurtle down. He's 4 levels down right now to Mexiety, and somehow he's not even at the bottom of the net worth, and that says a lot about the level of farm that ShadowChair has been getting in the middle lane. Very, very little. 0, 3, and 4. He's 2 levels down as well. The experience difference really being the bigger factor here. Yeah, 9,000 already. Way bigger.
We're approaching 1,000 experience a minute. That's how close we're getting right now, which is a little bit scary when the Gold Fury still hasn't been done in the game just yet. And only one Tier 1 tower is down. To be fair, Tier 1 tower down in less than 10 minutes is pretty damn strong.
Yeah, without a doubt. And the Tier 1 tower in middle is very important for Nuwa in particular, because she needs to make sure that she's staying safe. We saw how unsafe she could be without that ultimate, without purification. So Town USA really has a choice. Do they want to siege down this middle tower and make sure ShadowChair is a little bit less comfortable in that middle lane, or go for the first Gold Fury of the game?
Now, the new WAR pick overall, it's not something we see too often, but I kind of like it against Zeus just because the clay minions will absorb some of those chain lightning ticks now and again.
Sure,
Fights,
plus if you can use your root effectively, like we saw right there on the wave, you root them in place and do a ton of damage to them, but Zeus also excels at punishing characters like Nuwa that don't have that movement ability, that can't get away from his chain lightning. They can both fight.
Turtle is looking for some pressure onto Sops there on the right, but something enough, Sops is going to walk away from it quite clearly, as PandaTurtle is, I guess, looking for far more than anything else right now, as he is still 3 levels down on his opposition.
But BennyQ just backed, and Sops knows it. That means they're going to pull the Gold Fury here. PandaTurtle does still have his Wrath and his ultimate. Love the juke there from Rachetier using that fog.
But they don't care about Rachetier. They were looking for the mid laner ShadowChair, who's going to get to the sky, but he's already below half health right now. And there's the perfect ultimate. But a great Wrath from Medieval, followed by a Meditate, will keep his teammate alive. Still, though, diving into the boys as Sops finally gets the kill, and the sun's rained down from heaven.
PandaTurtle's next on the list. Double kill for the Hunter. Viper is going to fall to BennyQ, but BennyQ forced to rewind. He's the only hope right now for Slaughter Slugs.
With the only hope as well. The stun doesn't find a home this time round. Rooted in place by Cope for a second, but Cope's going to turtle his way back out of there too. It's a 2-for-1 exchange in the mid lane, where Slugs have a bit of an opportunity here, I feel.
Medieval is doing everything he can right now, not having that pressure in the lane, a little bit down to Cope, but another huge play with that meditation coming out of him.
Got to be careful how deep we go in here. BennyQ's going to lead the charge for the most part, using the Fatalis effect to great effect to just weave in and out and fire some shots, but Medieval may have have bitten off a bit too much more than he wants to chew there. And I don't think they realized that pin would have actually hit the cripple, otherwise they could have followed up.
But with BennyQ being full HP, plus Rachetier coming around the corner, Medieval has a sustain as well.
Yeah.
That would have been a difficult chase to make, even with Medieval not having that cavalry charge available. And again, it just, for me, comes back to the fact that PandaTurtle has been absent in this game. In game 1, he was as well. And Mexiety is making stuff happen all across the map. Second in player damage right now, only to Cope, who's just been wailing on Medieval willy-nilly.
Credit where it's due, though. BennyQ has started to catch up to Sops here, but I say that Caster's Curse one more time. Maybe Ricochet this time doesn't hit, but the Sanctuary avoids some of the dunk damage coming out from Thor for now. BennyQ trying to fight his way out of it, realizing he invested a lot into this, but the Sanctuary from Mexiety there will stop the damage in response again.
Very, very close, and the fact that the Ricochet there missed there from Sops is the big key. The Purification was down, and they tried to force that Sanctuary early on, plus the full combo from Mexiety, which really should have been guaranteed without the Purification, didn't quite find a home.
Right inside Medieval, trying to look after his own blue buff, but sadly Cope's already taken that one away. So Madame Marne, he is on that right-hand side right now. He's going to have to fall back sooner rather than later, but he can't really do that with how much pressure Cope's putting on the lane.
Exactly, and again, it's just Cope on this Erlang Shen, playing so well. We saw him play Nike, who's thought to be by many the best god in the game, and just didn't even have the same impact as he did on this Erlang Shen. Definitely one of his comfort picks.
Definitely a comfort pick overall here, and there's a taunt coming out after the heal from Medieval. Taunt doesn't last long enough, though, to really apply pressure, but if Medieval keeps walking in with low mana like that, he may be able to pick up a kill solo here if this continues.
I think Medieval's trying to medbait Cope right now. He has a meditation online. He's trying to use that low mana pool.
But he's getting no support because mid lane there's a fight going on at the same time here. Two members out of position for the side of the Slugs, and there's a Slug already dead, and the other one's limping away back to safety once again. Chair falls down.
ShadowChair just not having a good game right now. 0 and 5. He has 5 assists, but that's not too hard to do with New Wall with that ultimate. PandaTurtle also struggling in this game, but is going to be able to escape for now. Mexiety up in the sky. No way.
Go? No, he's looking to the right for Medieval again, and Medieval's alone. Now Damara this time as meditates down. The bait was there to pick on Cope, but Cope didn't care. He forced him back, and that actually allows USA to find another win on the right-hand side.
And PandaTurtle used his ult as well, just to be sure that nothing else was going to happen, but it doesn't save the life of the Soul Laner. Middle tower is going to fall. Town USA up a commanding 5,000 gold right now.
And now that's going to be a Gold Fury too, because I don't really see them able to stop this with ultimates being down, especially inside of PandaTurtle here. ShadowChair can give it a little bit of vision, but he's going to be late to the fight. The Gold Fury's already dead.
Oh, so much damage. That's just how far ahead Town USA is. Wrath wasn't even available there for Cope, and it was up for PandaTurtle, but like you mentioned, without that ultimate, just no way to get into that Gold Fury pit.
Oh, now it's just a moment of what do the Slugs do next, I guess. I mean, down 12k in experience. It's a big ask to get back into this, but it is a best of 3, and you're in your last game, so you can't really surrender and go, well, let's go for the next game.
Exactly.
What do we do next?
Just try and hold on, basically. Try and hold on to your tier 2 towers. BennyQ probably going to have to end up giving up that tier 1 on the left-hand side, but like I mentioned, their late game potential is really, really strong. And even if you get into the late game down 5, 6, 7,000 gold, it doesn't mean that a comeback isn't possible. Now, if we hit the 10,000 gold mark early on, that makes it a lot more difficult. That could be impossible, even if they do get to the later stages of the game. But right now, they're still in a spot where they could win. PandaTurtle needs to get a lot of farm. BennyQ's been doing a good job of keeping up with Sops as much as possible, only a level down.
But when you're 4-man sharing a speed buff like that, it's not something you really want for your team. Yeah, you only need experience, but someone's going to give it up somewhere, I guess, overall. And the worst thing is it's generally the support that the ones kind of hold that sometimes.
They both need to hit level 12, both the support and the jungler for Slaughter Slugs. Finally, PandaTurtle has access to that second relic, and Mexiety's been there since what feels like the 5-minute mark. He's been level 12.
Well, BennyQ wants to try to defend this lane. He can see 4 members on this left-hand side now, and he's like, guys, I need a little bit of help here. I can deal with 2, but I don't think 4's the magic number for me. And by the time the Slugs actually reinforce this position, they lose the tier 1.
This is actually good news overall for Slaughter Slugs if Town USA decide to push this, because Mexiety has the teleport and Cope does not, and immediately Town USA recognize that fact and back up. That would have been the... if I'm on Slaughter Slugs, I might try and force this fight right here.
Picking the jungle here with Balentine going to get the double tap off as well. The wall comes down on top of that. Ricochet hits twice, but it's still enough to bring down Rachetier for the time being. It does allow USA, though, to steal away the red buff and continue to gain gold.
And it just took too long because Cope is now here exactly where Mexiety is, and now Mexiety actually in a lot of trouble. Forced to use Cavalry Charge, finds a 3-man stun, but has to use Meditation.
And into the sky, however, goes Mexiety, and he's going to find a dunk onto 2. Big 4-man taunt there. And there's a follow-up Rachetier as well, trying to slow them down with Sylvanus. The fight continuing. Don't forget the sustain those Slugs have, but are they high enough level to continue weathering the damage?
No, Medieval walled off. No, he's able to sneak by a little gap there in the wall from Mexiety. BennyQ has been playing frontline this entire time, just trying to keep Viper and Sops off of the rest of the team. He can't stop him forever, though, as Viper going to be able to find Medieval.
Viper uppercut hits 2, and now he's only 3 members left for the Slugs to defend, and the front line is in tatters. Their back line is fending for themselves, as is the Phoenix right now, which is the next thing to fall in favor of Town USA.
Now they've got the sustain from Terra. They could even look at the Fire Giant here potentially, though with so many people low, the Terra heal not nearly as potent as even the heal from Sylvanus. You'll see Town USA backing in waves here, and Sops wanted ShadowChair to step up. There's a 7-level disparity between the two. No surprise to see Sops want to take that fight.
So where does this come back to in this game overall? Because at the start of things we saw, you know, it was Slugs that invaded, Slugs that got picked, but then ended up on top still just because of how things worked out. Where did it go wrong?
In the jungle, for PandaTurtle getting way too far behind, and that's the fact that
just losing the speed over and over
exactly,
again.
And it's giving Cope that Erlang Shen for me. I mean, just allowing him to have that pressure early on. Again, the decision to invade a Thor at level 1, almost always the wrong call unless you have some sort of interrupt for the Berserker's Barrage. In the fact that ShadowChair just had absolutely 0 pressure in the middle lane. I mean, I understand that Zeus is one of the highest pressure middle lanes, and you're not going to find one that's going to out pressure him, but there's really not a mid laner that gets pressured better than Nuwa does. I mean, Nuwa just kind of has to hold that.
She sits back.
Exactly, the whole time. And even then, even by sitting back, ShadowChair still took 5 deaths.
And that's just causing a problem. But BennyQ still looking to try and make something happen for his team there. Fantastic sons of Balentine, actually, just to stop him from finding those walls to crush down. But like you said, Town USA maybe turning their attention now towards the Fire Giant in the mid lane, or maybe just ShadowChair one more time. Sadly, though, Thor couldn't jump to his hammer there. Mex didn't find the mark overall with the tap to jump to for the Berserker Barrage. The Rachetier could have fallen.
And there in the Ricochet as well from Sops, getting the double tap off the wall basically of his own, forces ShadowChair back. He does have ultimate, not just up right now, but I don't know how much difference it's going to make.
In the sky, going to force back Town USA for a second, but Cope's not forced back. He goes in, looking for the support from his team with the Thor there as well. BennyQ's looking to get out of the fight if he can, but being chased down at the same time by Cope once more. As meanwhile on the right-hand side, Sops will pick up Rachetier, who's just looking to sustain his team.
Nowhere to run for the support player. Sops 7-0-0, top of the net worth right now. I imagine he's top of the player damage charts as well, or near the top at least, just playing so well. He's actually 4th on his team, and that really speaks to how much damage the rest of the squad has been doing. PandaTurtle has the Wrath, doesn't matter, nowhere close. Viper able to pick him up as well. Only 3 members remaining to defend this right side.
And we're now almost into the formality stage of things. The tier 2 tower is the last thing stopping Town USA from taking the right-hand Phoenix here as well. Gold Fury stands that BennyQ could look over to get, but he may need to get back here sooner rather than later for the defense of the Phoenix. Although Medieval in mid lane, he's still a little bit late on backing as well.
But they still only have 3. Actually, with Rachetier spawning, they do have 4. Rachetier doesn't have the shell or his ultimate, though, only that sprint to really help defend the siege.
A little bit too late to get to the defense here. Already Copes there with the ultimate, going to trade out the purification with BennyQ. And the focus onto BennyQ is real to force the Aegis as well. Phoenix falls back. Good pull in, however, from Rachetier, going to force Sops back out. But the Zeus ult was hot as hell.
And there it is, finding multiple people. PandaTurtle getting very low. Sops deciding to go back in with that support from his team. And I love the focus on the Chronos from Town USA because they recognize he's their only win condition right now. That's the only way we take any sort of damage because our support is 3 levels above their mid laner. Their support is a higher level than everyone on Slugs, except for Chronos.
It's all on Chronos now. With only 1 Phoenix remaining, hopefully the team can just like be a frontline for him as long as they possibly can be, or at least a distraction, I guess is the best way of putting it.
Yeah.
But I don't even think it's going to be enough right now with how big the lead is. Town USA are moving on to the finals, I feel.
I agree with you. It's going to be a very, I would be shocked if Slugs are able to come back into this one, and it is going to be on that guy's shoulder as BennyQ to try and make anything happen. But his counterpart, Sops, has had he's had a better game.
Solid.
I mean, he gets the solo kill in lane. He's made the rotations at the same time as BennyQ. Benny picks up the triple early on, but Sops picks up the double. It's just been one matching the other, but the rest of Town USA is just really outclassed Slaughter Slugs.
Like the call here from the Slugs to head to the right-hand side. Obviously, not something that USA really want to pay attention to for the time being, just because there's 5 minions pouring down. BennyQ trying to get some global goal for his team, but he's got to respect the fact that he could get a rotation like he just got from Cope.
And he's got to run from Cope, basically, because with that runic shield, with the wing blade, and it's just going to be so difficult to keep him off of him, basically. And Cope, again, top of the player damage charts. I know we've said his name a lot, but his...
You expected that after seeing the Erlang Shen.
I did.
Calling it over and over again. Like, as soon as he gets Erlang Shen, he seems just overly confident. Not overly confident, but it's so confident that it's not really an issue for whatever his matchup is.
He just has been dominant this entire day. As soon as he gets Erlang Shen, he's been making plays happen left and right. And I really do anticipate next week or in the finals, we'll see that be a targeted ban.
And on the right, he's going to look for BennyQ right now, continuing to trade. But left-hand side, we've got a fight going on. And with BennyQ not here, this could be a really good fight for Town USA to close out this set right now. Rachetier is going to fall first, followed soon after by ShadowChair. Next on the list is the Rat. That's getting some support from Medieval. Still, though, you can't see any support coming out from BennyQ. He's been isolated on that right-hand side.
Viper deciding to ult the Fountain instead of the Titan. It doesn't matter. He's actually going to be able to pick up a kill with that ultimate as well. Meanwhile, Cope able to get the solo kill 1v1 up against BennyQ. It's going to be Town USA, the team led by Cope, going to the finals.
And the Slaughter Slugs, they had a good performance there overall. Solid team. Solid team overall. But
they're getting there.
That set was very, very close.
Very close. It just the picks and bans need work. That's really what it came down to me. No surprise in the game they win. They don't give Cope Erlang Shen. The Nuwa pick, clearly not the right pick in that situation, as well as giving PandaTurtle Ratatoskr again. The picks and bans are the big thing, I think, so far for Slaughter Slugs.
I guess overall, yeah, picks and bans need to be looked at a little bit. There's a lot of things available right now, but we'll see how the brackets look right now and who's in the final against him. We did see it was Snoopy's team of Gabe that made it there, but right now, it's 1-1. Astral Authority fought back into that one.
Game 3 coming up. That's going to be really, really awesome. And Town USA is going to have a challenge no matter who they see in the finals here. 2 different styles, right? It's the pros, what was the heroine show up against Everyday Gains, and plus you got the opportunity for Snoopy to go off, or Walrus to go off, up against that tenured team of Astral Authority that you really expect their teamwork, their picks and bans, all that kind of stuff to be very, very clean.
And obviously the top 8 teams here, obviously the quarterfinals were very, very good teams overall.
Yes.
So coming into next week, I still couldn't call who's going to make it through to the open relegation spot with how things have gone.
Very, very competitive here for the open bracket thus far, and I expect it's only going to get better because these teams that are just now forming, just like in memory of Gabe, I mean, that's a team that really just came together this week, and I anticipate them to just continue to get better and better. Yeah, they tweeted at like 10:30 last night what their roster was, and then show up in there and they have a chance to go into the finals.
Which we kind of expected looking at the roster against the other rosters are against, but I think a lot of people put up opposition against them that they didn't expect.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, in Everyday Gains, I mean, you got to give shout-outs to Chapo and to Uzi and those guys who were very, very clean, even despite, I mean, sometimes clean, sometimes not, but pushing a team with that much talent to a 55-minute game and really making Heroine beat you with some snipes that were absolutely phenomenal. I mean, that's a really good spot for them to be in going into week 2.
Well, if you only just tuned in as well, obviously I'll let you know about Astral Authority if you don't recognize that name. It's Famous Hate, Left Syndrome, Shaker, Fine OK, and Mango. Just reading them off your sheet to make sure I don't get any wrong overall there. But that team has been around for quite a long time in the challenger scene. They did very, very good work just before we went to the World Championships.
Yeah, very much so. They came here to LAN during the Group D final, or during the console final. It was one of those two. And put up a fight up against Most Wanted, who was actually able to upset them. Most Wanted fell earlier on in the tournament, but they made a couple roster changes, swapping out a couple players. I believe they dropped Cliff for Famous Hate, and Famous Hate has a history of being in the SPL, very tenured player, really, really strong hunter. And you're right, this is a team that I think a lot of people should watch out for. Sheikah in the mid lane, been around for a very long time. Fine OK makes a lot of plays in that jungle as well. A lot of names that I think we could see break into the scene during Season 4.
Well, it's time for the finals. At least that's what we'll be showing you next, because it's time for us to cut to a break while the teams finish off that best of one now in that set in the top half. And whoever makes it through will be facing Town USA. We'll be back after the break.